ChatGPT can draw a picture, but Claude can run your entire business. That's the trade everyone is making, but almost nobody is naming out loud. I'm Rayan Ali, this is the GenZEO Playbook Podcast, and today we're breaking down the actual difference between Claude and ChatGPT in 2026. Not the headline version, but the version that actually matters if you're trying to build something. So in this episode, we're going to cover three different things. Number one, Claude design versus ChatGPT image tools. Which one is actually used for? Number two, the connector gap. Why Claude can touch your real tools, but ChatGPT mostly can't yet. And number three, what I actually run on Autopilot every single day, and that should be your starting point too. So let's get into this. Alright, so here's a bit of context, just in simple terms. ChatGPT generates images, but Claude doesn't. If you type "make me a poster" into ChatGPT, you would get a picture, but if you type the same thing into Claude, you would get redirected to a design page, not an image tool generator. And so this is what's happening currently. And that tool is called Claude Design. Claude Design isn't trying to be an image generator. It's a prototyping layout engine, mockups, slide decks, landing pages, interactive dashboards, things with structure, not just things with color. Meanwhile, on the connector side, the gap runs in a completely different direction. Claude's connector system is built on something called MCP, or Model Context Protocol. And what exactly does that mean? Well, it's an open standard, meaning anyone can build a connector for it. And that connector works the same way whether you're in Claude Chat, Claude Code, or even desktop. ChatGPT has apps as well, but the ecosystem is a lot more younger and narrower for individual users. A lot of solo founders are not really paying for that. That's the headline. Now, here's what it actually misses. The real story, everyone wants to turn this into which AI is better type question, but that's the wrong question to be asking. The real story is two different completely bets about what an AI assistant is really used for. ChatGPT bet on the scope here. One app, every capability, image generation built in, a voice mode, and a sprawling app store. The pitch is you never have to leave, while Claude bet on depth in your actual tools. Instead of building image generation in-house, Anthropic built an open protocol that let your calendar, your inbox, your design software, your project tracker plug all in. The pitch is Claude doesn't just talk about your work, but it's able to assist you with it. We all love the myth of the all-in-one app, but we rarely talk about what gets sacrificed to keep everything under one roof. Here's the part that actually matters to founders. Connectors aren't just a nice feature to have. They're the difference between an AI giving you advice and an AI that actually does the task. Ask Claude, what's on my calendar tomorrow? And with the Google Calendar connector on, it actually goes and reads your calendar. Ask it to move a meeting, and it moves it. There's no copy pasting needed and no tab switching. But ask it to draft a reply to email sitting in your inbox, and it drafts it inside of Gmail. One catch wording that it drafts, it doesn't send. You still need to hit the send button. And that's not actually a bug, but that's Anthropic keeping a human in on the loop for anything that leaves your account. ChatGPT's strongest move right now is the opposite kind of leverage. It can generate images, the voice clip, the front end render, all of it. But if your job is to produce content fast, then that's the real value. If your job is to run operations across 5 different tools without losing your mind, then the connector model wins here. Not because Claude is smarter, but because the architecture is built for that sort of action, not just output. So why does this matter for Gen Z founders? Well, you don't have an assistant and you don't have an ops team. You are the founder, the designer, the scheduler, and the person replying to all the emails at midnight. The tool that saves you the most amount of time isn't the one with every flashy feature, but it's the one that removes the most amount of work from your week. So here's what I run on Autopilot every single day through Claude connectors. Number one, Google Calendar. Claude finds open blocks for me, sets up my week, flags me when I'm overbooked. It can fully read and write my calendar. It's not just a suggestion engine anymore, but it actually edits my calendar. Number two, Gmail. Claude searches my threads, summarizes what's pending, drafts replies sitting in my inbox ready to send, but draft only is the right call here, as I don't want AI hitting send on my behalf without me reading things first. Number three, Google Drive. Every doc, every single script draft becomes searchable and usable as context without me re-uploading files in every conversation. Number four, Canva. And this is the one most people really sleep on. Claude can generate a design from scratch, edit an existing template by chat, and hand it back when finished. Concept to layout to acid without bouncing between thousands of different tabs. Number five, Notion. Workspace search, page updates, pulling notes into a working conversation. Compare this to the rideshare, food delivery off one app, version of AI tooling. That stuff, that's like flashy in a demo, but unless it's used in your actual operating rhythm, it's kind of useless. A connector that books you a car is a parlor trick, but a connector that runs your calendar and drafts your inbox is an infrastructure. We all get excited about the AI that can do anything, but the tools that actually save founders the most amount of time are the boring ones that run in the background every single day. Okay, now I want to try a live test and show you instead of just telling you. A quick honest check, free ChatGPT can touch your calendar now. It has Gmail and calendar connectors as well, and it's able to draft emails. But I'm not going to fake the gap because here's one that is still wide open. I'm going to share my screen in a sec, but first, I'm going to ask both Claude and ChatGPT to build me an actual working tool. Not to describe one, but to build me a podcast episode title generator. I give it a topic and it gives me 5 titles I can copy. And I want to be able to use this right now in the window. So I'm going to share my screen. All right, ChatGPT is saying I can't generate a interactive app with boxes, but it can build me an HTML Java tool that runs instantly in my browser. All right, so I've run this test before to make sure if it works. And I've run it a few times, as you can see over here. And so this ChatGPT can be a little annoying like this, but it did work the first time. It built something that runs, but when you look at it, it's just like bare HTML. There's like no style, no design, and it looks like it's from like the 1990s. But it is functional, but not really thoughtful. So let's enter a episode topic. Okay, let's say all about Claude. Generate 5 titles. Okay, so it's just using the same thing and inputting all about Claude. So basically, this is like a fill in the blank tool, you know? It puts in the first 5 words and then it just uses the input that you've given you and it fills it into a topic. Quick pause. If this conversation is sitting with you, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's the easiest way to support, help keep the episodes alive, and join us on the journey. All right, now let's jump into Claude. I'm going to put the same prompt in and let's see what happens. All right, so this is the same prompt and Claude actually built a live tool in the window. Like, look at the difference. It's got like, it's clean, it has some style to it, and the input and button actually look like designed. Yeah, so let's type in a topic as well. Oh, it already gives me examples. This is like insane. Look at this. Pretty cool. But now let's try all about ChatGPT. Let's go generate. Okay. It doesn't just copy and paste. I mean, it kind of does, but there's a lot more variety, you know? I'm getting a lot more. When I was looking at ChatGPT, I immediately saw that, hey, it just copied the 3 words that I used, right? But it's actually emphasizing and paraphrasing my 3 words into 3 titles that are actually really good. So this is something that I would use. We all love how AI can explain how to build a thing, but the one that wins your week is the one that actually builds it. All right, so I want you to steal these moves. The 5 connector stack. Before you add a single new AI tool to your workflow, I want you to run this. Number 1, audit your copy-paste loop. For one day, I want you to write down every time you move information from 2 apps by hand. Calendar to email, notes to doc, brief to design tool. That list is your connector priority list. Number 2, connect the boring 4 first. Calendar, email, drive, and whatever your main workspace tool is. Whatever you actually live in. Skip the novelty connectors and connect these 4 and make sure they're running clean. Number 3, test the action and not just the chat. Don't just ask Claude about your calendar. Have it move something. Don't just ask it about your email. Have it draft something. The value of a connector only shows up when it ends up acting and not just answering. That is the whole stack, and most founders skip step 1 and end up connecting tools they never actually use. So here's where ChatGPT and Claude will actually land, like side by side. ChatGPT wins if your daily output is visual, images, voiced, fast generative content all in one window. Claude wins if your daily output is operational, calendar move, inbox drafted, design built, and all inside of one conversation that touches your real tools. So the playbook for us is simple. Steal the systems that work, not the hype. Audit your copy-paste loop before you add anything new. Question the assumption that more features in one app beats fewer steps across your actual tools. And build a stack that actually does the boring work for you so that you can spend your time on the part that you actually need to. If you want more amazing breakdowns like this with real tools, real frameworks, and no fluff, subscribe to the GenZEO Playbook Podcast on YouTube and wherever else you listen. It's free and it helps out a ton. And make sure to drop a comment with one connector you're going to set up after this episode. Once again, I'm Rayan Ali. This is the GenZEO Playbook Podcast, and I'll see you in the next episode.